Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gary Myers. I'm with GoGo Capital, Leader on System Real Estate, and I will be one of the hosts with you down on the Dallas Funding Tour coming up next weekend. I'm excited to have you guys all aboard on today. Just give you an idea on why we're doing this. But I'm excited to see you guys meet and greet next weekend. What is that, Friday? Perfect. In Dallas. I'm excited to be there. So I hope you guys are as well. You guys are in for a good treat, and I'm excited for what we got in store for you guys. So why you were here, this is just a pre-training webinar that we want to do for people attending the funding tour to kind of be getting the idea of what to expect when you get there. You guys are in for a treat. I'm excited for you, and I just want to make sure you guys have all the opportunities available to you and don't get left out, so to say. So Pete Souza says, I have not done a rehab project. The training has been thorough during this course. What was shared is worth 10 times the time, energy, and investment to come here. I will be a better investor and rehabber by following the system that I learned here. Now, there's a couple points I want to point out here. Pete is a professional. He's been in the corporate world forever, and he's just now getting into real estate investing, which means there's always going to be somewhere where you're going to start. So think about it. Where do you start? Now, what we call the Circle of Wealth, which you'll learn a lot more at the event, the Circle of Wealth. Where do you join us in the Circle of Wealth? Are you a new rehabber? You've been investing for several years? You've done many fix and flips? What's the next step? Where do you need to progress and move and continue down the Circle of Wealth chain? The second thing I want to point out here is the last sentence here. Following the system that I learned. Now, what I love about Lee Arnold and what you're going to learn next weekend is Lee has a system. A system, if you implement and use, you will make money in real estate, but you got to follow the system. So that's what I'm excited to teach you guys next weekend is the system. So be prepared. You're going to learn something. So I'm excited for you. As a bus tour, we are going to go out and look at some properties. This is an example of one of our first bus tours that we did. We are going to get on charter buses. There's going to be 2 of them. We're going to be going across Dallas, and we're going to be looking at some rehab houses, properties that are for sale, properties that you can make offers on and potentially make a ton of money. I have a couple real estate agents lined up ready to go for us that are going to show us some properties. And again, all of them will be available or should be available. And if you want to make offers, you can make offers. Now, what I love about this funding tour is if you don't have cash, is there somebody in that group? Now, I want you to picture yourself standing in that group. Is there a partner left, right? Is there somebody that can partner with you to help you out? And what I also love is that you see that bright orange shirt in the middle, the guy looking down at a piece of paper, writing something down. He is wearing a GoGo Capital t-shirt. And GoGo Capital will be on site, and GoGo Capital will let you know what they would lend you if you wanted to make an offer on that deal. So we're going to see properties that are available that possibly need some rehab, and you're also going to have a funder there to fund the deals for you. So the exciting part here is every time we look at a house, we potentially want that property to be under contract before we left. So that's the exciting part about a funding tour is we want people making money and using the system in real estate and making tons of money in real estate. So that being said, that will be you next Saturday. On Saturday, we're going to get on the buses and we're going to go look at some properties. Ingrid says, the wealth of information has opened my eyes to all the possibilities. I have worked with investors, but now I understand why they do what they do. Again, there's a system, there's networking, there's a ton of opportunities that you're going to get involved with if you've never been to one of these events. If this is your first time, I'm excited for you because you're going to see how one of these works. Now, you're going to hear the word excited quite a bit during my presentation because this is one of my favorite presentations or classes that I love to go to and teach is because it's kind of the beginning stages of creating wealth and getting started in the real estate business. Now, this is not your extreme class. I mean, there's progressions on we do, and this is kind of the entry level or the basics of just getting started. And you're going to see a lot of new faces in this room that are professionals that just kind of want to shift gears into careers and start learning how to make money in real estate. Now, a lot of people on the line, I've watched the TV shows Flip or Flop, Flipping Vegas, Boston, Flipping Boston, and they see how easy it is to make money. But the reality is, behind the scenes, it's hard work. But as long as you follow the system and you do things correctly, you will make money in real estate if you do things correctly. Now, why this webinar? Why a week before am I having this webinar with you guys? Well, what we've learned in the past is we've had hundreds of real estate and broker trainings, and one of the comments that we always hear over and over from each participant that attends the event is the following: I was overwhelmed with the training, and I wish I had been ready to take advantage of all the opportunities. Yes, you will get overwhelmed. There's going to be a lot of information pumped into you for the next 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's a ton of strategies, a lot of systems. There's going to be a ton of information that you'll get brain overload. And we're also going to give you advantages to take some opportunities. Now, opportunities is making offers on the houses that we go look at. And then there's going to be a couple other advantages that I'm going to talk about here in a second. But the most common that we always hear on our evaluations to the end is I was overwhelmed with the training, it was great, but I wish I was ready to take advantage of all the opportunities that were presented at the event. So with you being on here, I shouldn't see that on the evaluations at the end on Sunday, because you have been warned, you have been allowed an advance notice in regards to what's going to be coming up at the event next weekend. So getting ready for this next weekend, I'm here to tell you, gear up, get ready, get some sleep, be prepared. These are going to be 3 intense days. Again, we're going to work you and work you and work you. Get ready for the opportunities that will be laid before you. I'm going to talk to you about those in a second. And during your 3-day Dallas Funding Tour training, you will be presented with multiple opportunities while you will receive a first-class education on how to become a real estate investor. 1, we're going to give you the opportunities to become a lender. So we'll be bringing our newest high yield notes from the Secured High Yield Fund, and these will be available for you to buy and purchase. Now, if you're not in the business to deal with tenants and toilets, are you in the business to become a lender? Now, being a lender is part of our circle of wealth. Our ultimate goal for you is to become a credited investor, to where you're lending money in the fund and where you're just sitting back on a beach drinking Mai Tais and collecting interest monthly checks. That is our ultimate goal for you, but you got to progress and work your way there. So we will have notes that are available. So these are not properties for sale. These are actually notes, mortgage paper, to where you can buy and take over and be the bank. Be the bank. So if something breaks or the water heater busts, the HVAC goes down, it's their responsibility because they're the owners. You are not. You are just the lender collecting a monthly interest check. So we'll have a bunch of those opportunities available for you as well. They're going to be price ranging in between $15,000 all the way up to a couple $100,000. So depending on how big of a monthly check you want, it will be dependent on how much money you'll need to bring. Now, what I love about this is a lot of you are going to have self-directed IRAs. Self-directed IRAs can be the bank. So think about that. If you've got a self-directed IRA out there that's just collecting nothing and not working, could you invest those funds into buying a note that's been underwritten, backed, secured, performing, and just become a bank and start collecting monthly checks? Now, what I love about this is that we're going to have the information there for you, so you can look at everything. So you're going to look at the appraisal, bank statements, you're going to look at everything. So if you want more details on a loan, the details will be there for you. Second opportunity we're going to show you is some REO properties. So these are going to be some properties that Kogo Capital has had some loans go bad. And typically when a loan goes bad, we have to foreclose or get a deed in lieu, so we take possession of the property and take ownership. Well, Kogo Capital is not in the real estate business. We don't want to own properties, so we will sell these properties to the people that attend our events. So cash always talks. If you've got cash, make cash offers. We'll look at all offers. Now, what I love about this as well is Kogo Capital's on site. There'll be a representative, and if you wanted to get Kogo financing to buy these properties, it's available. It's available. Okay, so, but cash always talks. It's always first come, first serve. Again, Kogo Capital is a seller, and they'll look at all offers. So we'll have some REO properties that are available for sale across the nation. And investing in your business. Multiple opportunities will be available to enhance your business, further your education, and increase your productivity. Now, everyone will be, when you're there, you'll be met with a business development consultant with Jared, Nick, or Serge. You will meet with them throughout the event, and we're going to just sit down with you and kind of figure out what your goals are, where you're at, where you want to be, and then how to get there. What are your next steps? What levels are you doing? What kind of habits are you in? What can we make adjustments and pull levers here, pull levers there to make sure you're going the right path? Now, what I love about Nick, Jared, and Serge is that they've made a ton of people millionaires just by following a couple simple steps on what they suggest. They've all been trained by Mr. Lee Arnold, and they are successful themselves. But what I love about the Circle of Wealth is that these guys will get you in the Circle of Wealth, get you the top part, and start becoming lenders, because they will make you tons of money. So make sure the weekend that you meet with Serge, Jared, or Nick, and these guys will go over a game plan for you. They are business development consultants. Our goal, again, is to make you become a lender. But how do we get you there? Is it buying more real estate? Is it investing in your business, more education? Is it this class? Is it whatever it is? We're going to figure it out. We're going to come up with game plan goals, and then we're going to implement it. So we're going to be your accountability partner, so to say. We want everybody to be successful. Now, I said our company goal is to make sure everybody's a lender, but reality is we want your story. I want your story. Lee Arnold wants your story. Your story could be very simple. I'm an 18-year-old. I saw this postcard to come to the Dallas Funding Tour, free event, went on a bus tour. I learned the system. I implemented the system. I made a couple offers. I got a couple offers accepted. I got funding from Kogo Capital. Kogo Capital lent me the money. I fixed and repaired. I made $20,000 on a house. I did it again. I did it again. I now have $500,000 available. I became a lender. Now I'm collecting monthly interest checks, and I become eventually an accredited investor where I dump $500,000 into a high yield fund, and I'm making 14% annualized. Is it possible? Absolutely. But it all comes down to you, your habits, and what you learn in the system, and can you implement this. So I'm excited for you. Again, the key word this seminar, this presentation is excited. I'm excited for you. Again, I want your story. I want success stories. Just here's an example of one of the notes that could be presented. Now, this is an actual note that Kogo Capital funded, and this particular deal is sold. So there is already somebody, the new bank, and they're collecting their monthly interest checks. But this is the type of deals that you're going to look at. Now, this house was located in New York, New Jersey. This is a single family and a 2-unit. There was 2 properties on this transaction. Loan details, here's some interior photos. It was pretty nice. Didn't need a whole lot of rehab, but the loan amount that we lent them was $104. The appraised value on this was $166. The client had to bring in $48,000. So the person that wanted to buy these properties had to come in with cash, with $48,000. The loan to value for an investment side as a lender was 62% of the value. So LTV stands for loan to value. The rate of return that this investor, the new bank, was going to make was 12%, annualized, 12%. The loan term for this was 18 months, so they're going to make a little more than 12%. The use of proceeds was funds will be used to purchase the subject property. So they were using the funds, the $104,000 from Kogo, to buy this property. As you can see, the properties did not need repairs. Their exit strategy was to sell the property at the end of the 18 months. My guess is they were going to rent this out for probably a year and then turn around and sell it and make a profit. Now, the highlights of this is the borrower had multiple years experience in real estate. So they had a schedule of real estate. They showed a lot of properties on there. This person was experienced. The 2 other properties that are held were in the borrower's portfolio. So this person already owned a property. So this is a cross collateral. The borrower is putting $48,000 towards this transaction. So there is skin in the game, so to say. So if this person were to walk away from the transaction, they're giving up $48,000. Is that protection? Are you protected as a lender? Absolutely. The likelihood of that person walking away is very slim. And those are the type of transactions we like. And we call that logic-based lending. And you'll learn a lot more about logic-based lending next weekend. So what do you need? You need to have access to capital. Plain and simple. Access, capital. As a small business owner, cash flow is the life's blood. Having capital available at any moment's notice can be the difference between getting that next deal and not getting it. Now imagine that back picture where there's a bunch of people standing in front of the bus. We were sitting in front of a house, which means there was somebody there, probably had a lot of cash sitting in hand, ready to make a cash offer. Can you be one of those people? Absolutely. You can. Again, we're going to look at houses that are available, ready for sale, and we are going to make sure they are good deals. Here's a house. Now, a lot of you are thinking that's a bad house, but on this particular house, I believe it was worth $120,000. Somebody made an offer for $30,000. It needed about $30,000 in repairs, so you'd be into it for $60,000. It's worth $120,000. Is that a decent deal? Some of you say, I want better than that. Some people are saying, yeah, that's all right. Some people are saying, yeah, that's a good deal. A potential profit of $40,000 to $50,000 is not bad. That's probably more or around what most people make yearly that are on this phone call. Now, I don't want you to say how much you make per year, but reality is if you made $30,000 to $40,000 on one deal, is that life-changing? Some of you are going to say yes. Some of you are going to say, oh, that's not quite enough, Gary. I need a little more than that. I agree with you. Everyone on here is at a different level, different playing field, but it's the same system, same philosophy. What do you need to make is the question. So you can get money from people who you know who have money. You can get them from, obviously, credit cards, home equity lines. You can get them from cashing some CDs, some stocks, obviously, some commodities, precious metals, hedge funds, foreign exchange currencies, and a real estate portfolio. Now, again, guys, I just need to make sure you guys have the capability of getting funds. Now, obviously on here could be friends, family, partners, somebody that might be able to have access to cash quickly. Again, cash talks fast in real estate. I'm losing out on a perfect deal I want to get just because I'm a little short on cash and I need a private lender. But the seller doesn't want anything to do with private lenders. They want cash on hand, and I'm a little short. So I'm reaching out to one of my family members. They want to see almost $300,000 in the bank, but this is a smoking deal. I'm short by probably $30,000 on what I can show, but I need to find access. They won't even look at it unless I have proof of funds, which means they want to see bank statements. But the cash talks. Cash talks. So you can get one of these options. You can obviously raise limits on your credit cards. I'll show you how to do that here in a sec. You can get a loan from a local credit union, and you can utilize peer-to-peer lending. Now let's talk about raising your credit cards. Now what you're going to hear at the event is what's called free dessert, raising the limits on your credit cards. Free dessert. I love this concept, and it's actually a book. It's tapes and series that Lee sells. It's called Free Dessert. And the idea here is next time you go to a restaurant, so tonight, if one of you guys goes to a restaurant tonight, after you're done eating and you kind of settle down and the waitress or waiter comes over and says, do you guys want dessert tonight? I want you guys to ask, yes, I would love to have dessert. What is on your free dessert menu? Now, obviously, the waiter is going to be laughing and says, there's nothing. Or they're going to say, well, I can get you a scoop of ice cream, or I can get you this, I can get you that. The idea here is to get you outside of your box and start asking for stuff. Now, if you're afraid to ask for free dessert, are you afraid to learn the system on how to negotiate with sellers to take a discount on real estate? Are you afraid or were you not aware that you can go to Nordstrom's, Macy's, JCPenney's, and while you're checking out, can you ask them for a discount? Is there any coupons? You wouldn't know unless you ask. Some of you are married on here, and some of your other spouse might be cooking dinner tonight. But if you don't want that and you want to ask for, let's say, meatloaf, do you have to ask for meatloaf? So it's the idea of free dessert. You can't get what you don't ask for. Okay? So I want you to try this exercise. Now, this is going to be part of the homework at the event. So if you get this done before you go to the event, kudos to you. You guys will be highlighted. But I want you guys to make sure you do this. Not for the sake that you did it, for the sake that you went outside the box and you asked for something. Okay? Now, what's the worst thing they can say if you call the credit card company and say, hey, can you raise my limits? What's the worst thing they're going to say? They're going to say no. But again, the idea here was to get you outside your box and go ahead and ask. It's not going to take very long to do, so it's not going to be a I don't have time issue, because it doesn't take that long. I want you to get outside your box, get outside your comfort zone, and ask. Now, what happens if they say yes? Raising your credit limits, lowering your interest rate, waiving the annual fee. What if they said yes? Are you do you have the ability to now be a cash player? Absolutely. Now, in the real estate, we're talking about fix and flips. I'm not talking about holding properties. Obviously, interest rates and holding properties for long term doesn't make sense. But this is a get in, get out transaction. Get in, get out, make your profit. Get in, get out, make your profit. You can do this. Now, I don't want you to write this down, but I do want you to get pen and paper out, because I want you to write this phone number down. Okay? Write this phone number down, 800-519-1653. I'm going to go through the script here on how to raise your limits and lower interest rate on your credit cards. I don't want you writing this down, because I have a little PDF form or Word document that we can email you. But the only way you can get it is if you call this number, say 800-519-1653, and when you talk to somebody, say, hey, I need that credit card script. They'll get your email address, and then they will email you this script. Again, I'm going to go through these slides fairly quick. You're not going to have time to write these down. So call the phone number, say, hey, I need a copy of the script that Gary just talked about, the credit card script. Okay? We all on board? Good. Let me just double check, make sure everybody's still on here. Everyone can still hear me, yes? Okay, so there's been a couple questions which I'll address at the end here, okay? I'm not leaving you out. I will address them in here in a sec. So write the phone number down, 800-519-1653. I've already written it down, perfect. Good, let's go through the script. Student, that is you. Hi, I'm calling to find out what my credit card limit is. Now, you're calling the 800 number on the back of your card, and you're going to call whatever credit line it is and say, hi, I'm calling to find out what my credit limit is. Now, you already might know what it is, but this is a conversation starter. I want to know what my current credit card limit is. The operator is going to come back and say, your credit line is the following. I'm about to make a significant purchase and would like you to increase my credit limit today. This is key, and why it's bold in parentheses. Don't say another word. Now, in negotiating anything, real estate, cars, whatever, the first person that states a number loses. You do not say a word at this point. If they come back and say, well, how much do you want? You say nothing. How much can you increase my credit limit today? If you go silent for several minutes, you go silent for several minutes. Do not say another word. That is key. That is the tipping point of getting this to be successful. Well, how much would you like? Again, you're negotiating. The first person who gives a number loses. How much can you give me? How much do you need? How much are you authorized to give me? So they might just go straight in, I'm authorized to give you $5,000 increase. Okay? They might give you a $10,000 increase. They might not say, I'm not allowed to give you anything. That's fine. The idea here is to get outside your box and ask the questions. Now, I guarantee you'll be surprised on what happens. You will be surprised if you do this exercise. I'm authorized to give you a $50,000 credit increase. That is not enough, but I'll take that for now. I would like to speak to your supervisor at the end of this conversation today. In the meantime, what is my current interest rate? Your current interest rate is 28%. I would like you to lower my interest rate today, please. Don't say another word. Okay. What is the annual fee I'm currently paying? If you're paying 0, that's fine. You can still ask the question. You're currently paying 0. You're currently paying $99. You're currently paying $299. Figure that out. Okay? So I would like you to waive the annual fee for me today, please. Don't say another word. But Gary, this is just asking way too much. Is it? What if your credit line got increased $10,000, your interest rate dropped 10%, and your annual fee was waived for a 6-month retro? Is that asking too much? Do you think the banks are hurting for money? Absolutely not. So again, you can't get what you don't ask for. Now, is it very often that the banks will go ahead and just out of random blue, just go ahead and lower your interest rates without you asking? Will they waive your annual fees? And sometimes they'll send you an increase because you haven't done a whole lot of activity on your card lately, so they kind of want to entice you. But how often is that? Again, you can't get what you don't ask for. So then ask, yes, we were able to waive that. Okay, great. Was the interest rate, you just quoted an annual fee that you just waived retro to 6 months ago? What's the worst case they say? They say no. But what if they said yes? That is the key word. Operator says yes, I can retro it for 6 months. Fantastic. Please make sure you credit my account the difference. Okay? Great. Thanks for all your help and time. Can you please transfer me to your supervisor now? Now, Gary, you're thinking, well, why do we need the supervisor? They just gave me an increase, they lowered my interest rate, and they waived my annual fee. Well, you're talking to a hourly employee, so to say. Imagine getting the supervisor. Do you think the supervisor has more abilities to be authorized to give you more? Absolutely. So when that supervisor gets on the line, you want to say, oh, so-and-so was fantastic, probably one of the best employees, the best experience I've had in a long time. But here's my deal. I'm about to make a significant purchase, and I need to increase my credit lines. You go through the script again with the supervisor. You do it, and you see if they can do better. Okay? See if they do better. It's simple. Try it. You'll be surprised on what you get. If worst case scenario they say no, that's fine. At least you tried. Again, I want you to get outside your box and asking for stuff that are not normal. That is part of our system, and I need you to learn now that part of the system. Okay? So to get the script, 800-519-1653. As you saw, the script was not that hard. It's not technical. It was pretty easy. So just call the 800 number, work the script, and get your credits increased, get your interest rates lowered, and get your annual fees waived. Make sense? Pretty easy task. It doesn't take that long to do. You will be surprised. But Gary, I'm all maxed out. Well, that's you're the type of person I want calling. If you're maxed out, I need these credit cards increased to lower your debt to income, make you look like a stronger borrower. If you're getting conventional financing, they're looking at debt to income. Raise these rates, have access, leverage these cards, and make tons of money in real estate. Get in and out, make tons of money. Another option you can get is get a loan from a local credit union. Yes, you can go to your local credit union and ask to borrow money. Credit unions are small local banks that are owned by members rather than shareholders. Because of this business model, credit unions tend to have lower fees and a different customer service model that evaluates loan applications based on more than just your credit score. If your credit is poor, the rate will still be high, but not as high as it would likely be at a larger bank. Now, if you've got a history with a credit union, yes, if you got bad credit, they might still lend to you. So again, it's getting outside the box and asking. I like credit unions because typically the interest rates are a lot lower. Open an account. If you're not a member of a credit union, go start establishing one. I highly recommend it, even if you don't want to borrow money, just start one. Credit unions can get more flexible in interest rates when you buy cars, buy houses, all that good stuff. Because credit unions are member-owned, they must have an account to become a member and eligible for a loan. Opening an account at a credit union is the same as opening an account at any bank. Bring some cash and identification, and a banker will help you to set up a checking and or savings account. It's pretty simple. Go in, ask, get started, get set up, and then talk to a banker about a credit union about your eligibility for a loan. Fill out the necessary paperwork, because the more personal approach taken by credit unions, the banker will talk to you that you will be talking with will be more likely to take into consideration your individual circumstances when applying for a loan. Even if a large bank has denied your loan application, a credit union still may approve it. Credit unions are a little more flexible than your larger banks. You should not expect to receive a loan under the same terms and conditions as you would if your credit was good. Bad credit will still mean that any funds you receive will be granted at possibly at a higher interest rate. This is because the bank is taking a greater risk on your loan than on a loan to someone with better credit. So if you feel you've got bad credit, don't worry about it. Again, it's getting outside and asking the questions. Now, I don't want you doing this if you are in the middle of buying a primary house conventionally, or if you're refinancing your conventional house. Some of these will put dings and do inquiries on your credit. So if you are buying a primary or refinancing a primary residence, I recommend not doing this exercise. And then when you get to the event and when we ask you, did you do this exercise during this week, I need you to be saying that, no, I'm buying a primary house, I'm in the middle of getting all the mortgage documents going, and I didn't want to put a ding or a soft pull on my credit. Now, a lot of your credit cards are going to do soft pulls, which means it's not going to affect your credit that much. If you're concerned about that, which I'm not, you can always ask the question, are you going to be doing a hard pull or a soft pull? But again, if you are doing something significantly with your credit and don't want to risk anything with it, do not do the credit card exercise. Some credit cards will do a soft pull, some will do a hard. So, but if you're not doing a significant purchase, I want you doing it, because your credit will recoup. But if we can increase your credit lines, guess what happens to your credit score when your debt to income gets better? Your credit score will increase, okay? That being said, another way of getting cash quickly is a peer-to-peer loan. Since 2005, the number of companies that are merged that allowed borrowers to connect directly with individual loan providers. This is a peer-to-peer. This is like me lending you money. It's like your best friend lending you money. There are a lot of companies out there right now that are just peer-to-peer. They're not backed by Freddie or Fannie, and they're just doing peer-to-peer loans. These arrangements can be a win-win situation because the borrower typically gets a better rate and is more likely to get a loan, even with bad credit, whereas the creditor gets a better return on their money than a bank typically provides. Now, with your pen and paper, I want you to write these websites down. I really like this one. This one's moneylend.net, MONEYLEND.net, moneylend.net. What I love about moneylend.net is that you can actually go onto their website, you plug in the state that you live in, you plug in the amount that you're looking to borrow, and then it will pull out lenders, peer-to-peer lenders in that area, and then it will give their criteria. So some of them will have a minimum FICO score, some of them will have you have to have a job making a certain amount of money. Obviously, there's a risk factor when you're dealing with peer-to-peer because this is a personal loan. It's not backed by real estate. This is a personal loan. So they're going to look at you. Lendingclub.com, peerform.com. Now, what I like about the MoneyLend, the first one, is a lot of these other ones are going to be included with MoneyLend. So I kind of use MoneyLend as the father, and they just spit out all these other guys. So. But if you didn't want to go to MoneyLend, you go to all these other ones. So Prosper is a big one that we use because a lot of people, when they want to get, I deal with Kogo. If you didn't know who I am, I help run Kogo, and I do a lot of loans. And then sometimes there's some cases that the borrower needs to bring in some cash to close. Well, they might not have a family or friend or too embarrassed to go ask. So I give them these websites. Go get a private personal loan. Again, you're in the fix and flip business. It's not going to cost you that much to get this peer-to-peer loan. Bring in the cash to close. Let's make a ton of money on that real estate deal. So prosper.com is one that we commonly use. Lendit.com, and then another one we use constantly is springleaf.com. Springleaf.com. So moneylend.net, lendingclub.com, peerform.com, prosper.com, lendit.com, and springleaf.com. But the easiest one I like to use is the moneylend.net. Give everybody 5 seconds to write all those down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Again, if you didn't get them all down, just go to moneylend.net, plug in the state, plug in the dollar amount, and it'll spit out some lenders for you. So peer-to-peer lending, these websites allow you to enter the amount you hope to borrow, the reason for borrowing it, and the overall credit status. It's based on this information will tell you whether a loan will be available to you and will quote you the approximate interest rate. Now, what I love about peer-to-peer lending is they're quick. My brother-in-law needed to borrow $25,000. My wife's sister ended up having some medical issues, and they were short on some bills that they had to pay. So he went to actually prosper.com and was able to get a $25,000 credit line. And it took him 8 days, I believe. 8 days. And part of the 8 days was because he was in the hospital and didn't have time to go home and get the information they needed. So I believe the only information they needed was just some bank statements. And he was able to supply the bank statements, and he got cash wired into his account 8 days later. If he was home, he probably could have had it in 5 days. That's how quick it was. And he had $25,000 cash in his bank account and ready to pay all his bills. So they were pretty quick, prosper.com. So Daniel Jonasi, this info will help me further structure my business. Getting the info I need to prepare for a rehab will put me way ahead of the competition. Now, what I love about our events is we love people that network. Networking is huge in the real estate business. Now, you've always heard the terms, it's not what I know, it's who I know. I truly believe that to an extent. Now, obviously, you need to be educated and make sure you're doing the deals correctly. You're not losing money, so you're not going to the school of hard knocks and you're losing money on the first 5 deals and you learn from your mistakes. That's not the idea of these events. These events are learn the system, do it right the first time, and start making money on your first deal. But it's also networking with fellow like-minded real estate investors who are going to be in this room with you. Now, I talked about having money, being short on deals. Could you partner up with somebody in the room? Absolutely. So we encourage networking, and we're going to do a couple exercises throughout the whole weekend next weekend on networking. And we want to make sure you guys meet each other because you guys are going to become family. You guys are going to help each other. The idea here is to make money together. To make money together. If you can learn how to do that, you'll become successful. So putting that way ahead of the game. Now, if you're not the type of person that wants to network, that's fine. But are you prepared to put yourself ahead of the competition? Everybody in that room is going to be competition and could potentially be your partner. So where are you at in the circle of wealth? How much capital do you have available? That's the idea here. Structure your business correctly. I just want to touch base shortly and quickly on corporate seed capital. Now, we have access to a company that goes on your behalf, allows you to get unlimited LLCs. Now, again, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I am going to give you a name and number on who to call to learn more information about this. Now, out of everything you see this weekend, there's 2 things I want you to do. It's A, call your credit cards and get an increase. And then the second thing is I want you to call Serge here shortly. I'm going to give you his phone number. I want you to call Serge, and I want you to ask him about WCAP. Now write that down, WCAP, WCAP, Corporate Seed Capital. We have a lot of successful clients that have been through our system that got involved with WCAP. And what WCAP is they're an asset protection company, but they also go on your behalf and raise credit lines for your businesses, For the past 5 clients I've seen go through WCAP, WCAP was able to raise almost $100,000 for every client. Now, this is $100,000 liquid credit lines. Now imagine you got involved with WCAP, you had unlimited LLCs, which means you just call WCAP and say, hey, I'm creating a new business. And days, 24 hours later, you have an LLC set up, you have an EIN letter registered with the IRS, and you are now in business. And then a couple of days later, WCAP says, hey, we were able to raise a $100,000 credit line for that new business. What could you do with a $100,000 credit line? Now, some of you are in some higher end markets, some of you in some lower end markets. Imagine taking $100,000 cash and going to the auction block and bidding. Imagine taking $100,000 and going to a real estate agent and say, hey, I need to buy 2 investment properties. I have cash. Here's my proof of funds. Let's go shopping. You take this $100,000 corporate seed capital and you go to one of our events where we've got notes available. You make an offer on the houses that we go look at. Cash is king. So make sure you get involved and learn more about this. Now, I can't get too detailed on it, but I do want you to know that it's available. So how would you like to have unlimited business entities? Again, that's just calling up and say, hey, I need a new entity. I need a new business. Again, we're networking. You might want a JV. You call them up, say, hey, I need a new business. Here's the members or the board members of these entities. What if these business entities could get lines of credit? Imagine opening 3 and all 3 of them got a $100,000 credit line. You now have access to $300,000 cash. How many real estate deals can you go out with $300,000? Now, again, if you learn the system that you're going to learn next week, you will be profitable, which means you're going to get in and get out. You're going to get in and get out, and you're going to make profit. You're going to make a ton of money. You're going to make tons of money. Now, Gary, do these seed corporate capital have interest? Yeah, they have low interest rates. But if you're doing it correctly and following the system, the interest rates don't mean a thing. And that's what I love about this business is if you leverage your money correctly, your rate of investment, your rate of return is going to be significantly a lot higher. And that's what I'm excited about. Out of everything, this is what I'm excited about. If you can get $100,000 credit lines, your business is going to skyrocket. I guarantee it. Your business will skyrocket as long as you follow the system. Now, if you get a $100,000 credit line, you go out and buy a new car, new house to live in, a new boat, all that good stuff, that's not the idea here. The idea here is to get the credit lines, leverage the funds, buy real estate, fix and flip, make profits. Buy and fix, flip, profit. That is the idea here. Do not go out and buy a new Ferrari. That's not the idea, okay? Could you use these lines of credit to purchase real estate? Absolutely. That's what I love about this. So, again, there's 2 things I want you to do before you get to the event. I want you to call your credit cards with the script, so call the 800 number for the script. But I also want you to call the 800 number 519-1653 and ask for Serge Scala. Serge has made a ton of people wealthy in getting them involved with the WCAP. Again, you got to mention when you call Serge, tell me more about WCAP. WCAP. Serge will explain that. He'll get you involved. He'll get you signed up. And what I love about that is if you take advantage today of the WCAP, you potentially could have a couple $100,000 credit lines before you even get to the event next weekend. I'm dead serious. You potentially could have $100,000 to $200,000 credit lines before you get to Dallas next weekend. So I need you to call the 800-519-1653 and ask for Serge and talk about WCAP. WCAP. Can you guys do that for me? Perfect. Thank you. Make sure you get involved. Now, VIPs. I'm excited for you. VIPs, you guys are in for a treat. If you are not VIP, why? Why are you not VIP? You need to become VIP. 800-519-1653. Same number. Call the number and say, I need to be VIP. I need you to call that number and say, I need to be VIP. If you're not, you're going to miss out. You're going to get the red carpet treatment. You're going to get the first pick of your seats, which means you're going to get allowed to get into the room first. We are going to have a separate breakout session for VIPs only. This is one of my favorite sessions, learning strategies. Out of all the events we do, it's this one. You do not want to miss out. I would love to give you more details because, but I'm not going to because you need to be VIP. If you're already VIP, again, the key word was excited for you. You guys are in for a treat. During the bus tour, we'll be buying your lunch. If you're not VIP, you'll have to buy your own lunch. And then we also have another breakout session with a VIP cocktail. So we're going to buy you some drinks. We're going to be networking, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Make sure you get involved with the VIP sessions. Okay, this is definitely the sessions you do not want to miss. 800-519-1653. Now that's the reason why we have those special sessions, is because we want to know who are the people that are investing in themselves. We want to know who is going to go to the next level, who's going to progress in the circle of wealth, who's going to take advantage of the WCAP, who is going to take advantage of the credit card script. We like motivated people. And I guarantee you, if you become VIP and you attend these breakout sessions, you will be leaving next weekend's event highly motivated. So folks, be ready. Regardless of the method you choose, you need to be ready to deal with what you come that's going to be laid at your feet at the Orlando Funding Tour. Do it now. Be prepared. Do it now so you don't miss out. Do it now so that after the training you're not the person that said, I wish I hadn't been ready. Okay. Again, 2 homework I want you to call the 800 number. I want you to get the credit script. I want you to be calling your credit cards. Again, worst case scenario, they say no. But I guarantee you will be surprised on what you hear. Guarantee it. You will be surprised. Second thing is, I want you calling Serge Scala asking about WCAP. If you've already got WCAP, I wish I can get you on the line and you could talk about it, because it is one of the best programs out there right now. I need you guys getting involved, taking advantage of what's available for you guys. Okay? So a couple questions on here is, a lot of VIPs are on here, a lot of people are not. Make sure you get involved with the VIP. How do I spell your name? Well, it's Gary, G-A-R-Y, last name Myers, M-Y-E-R-S. What time does it end on Sunday? Sunday, I need to book my flight out. Be prepared to be ending around 5:36 p.m. on Sunday. Make sure your flights are a little later after that, okay? Okay, but my credit rating sucks, and I have debit cards and one more secured card. That's fine. Take advantage. Call the credit cards you have now and see if they can increase, and go apply for another Capital One. Now, Capital One's got several cards. The more credit cards you can have that you are showing good payability, the better your credit is going to increase. Now, what we'll teach you at the event is certain percentages we want your credit card limits to be at. Now, the idea here is not get these new credit cards, get these increased, and then go max them out real quick. Okay. The idea here is to have the availability to pull cash out if you need to buy real estate and make tons of money. A lot of you are saying thanks, great, see you in Dallas. I absolutely agree with that. I'm excited for you guys. You guys are taking the next step. You guys are going to become wealthy as long as you follow the system we teach you. And again, the key word is excited. So be prepared. Take advantage. Call the 800 number just for worst case scenario, just to see if the phone number works for me, will you? And see what they've got to offer for you. Again, get the credit card script, ask for Serge, talk about WCAP. Again, education, just learn about it. Even if you don't want to pull the trigger on it today, just learn about it. See what they can do for you, okay? So that being said, I'm excited. Again, this is just a prerequisite. Be advantaged. Take advantage of what we're teaching you. Again, we will have that as a homework assignment at the event, especially the credit card. If you take advantage of that now, then guess what you don't have to do while you're at the event? Hint, 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 hint. Take advantage. So I'm excited to see you guys, and I look forward to meeting you personally in Dallas next weekend, Friday morning. Talk to you soon. Have a good weekend.